Hello, everybody. We're going to talk today about account-based reporting using Marketo Measure. So there's a recent thread in the MoPros Slack channel talking about how Marketo Measure can do account-based reporting and tracking. So here we're going to do a little bit of an explainer video to highlight that. So first off, before we actually dive into any of the data points that you're seeing on the screen here, I want to talk about how Marketo Measure does the back end side of account-based tracking. So what it does is it's going to start this process by matching leads to accounts. And that's if you're not already converting all leads to accounts anyway in Salesforce, uh, Marketo Measure will be matching leads to accounts. It does this primarily through the email domain of the lead and matching that either to the website listed for the account or matching that to other email domains for contacts associated to that account. There's a couple of other ways that it's doing lead to account matching, but that's the primary piece there. Now, once it matches leads to accounts, it's actually very simple to do account-based reporting because it's stamping that lead record with a matched account value. Now, to be clear, it does not convert leads to accounts. It's not doing that. You still need something like a lean data to be able to do that. But it is able to stamp a matched account value to your touch point data inside both Salesforce and inside the Visible platform. So it makes it very easy to do that reporting. Now, inside the Visible platform, this is the account-based marketing dashboard. That is the primary place where you're going to go to do account-based reporting. You're looking at a sandbox environment. So this is fake data. So, take the data itself with a grain of salt, but this is showing how you can do account-based reporting in Marketo Measure directly. Now, we're specifically looking at the touch point date here in the filters, and the touch point date correlates to when the interaction with marketing took place. So we're looking at interactions with marketing. There took place in this case in the year 2021, because that's when the fake data is. But if you were looking at this in your environment or in a live environment, you could look at this in the year 2023. You could look at it monthly, quarterly, weekly. You get all sorts of options there. Now, the way that this works is if you read this from the top down, and we're going to go top left to the right, and then we're going to go down and go left to right here. So the first one here is this revenue module here. This revenue module is telling you how much revenue, closed won sales, has been driven from touch points that took place in the time frame that we are looking at here, tied to accounts. Pipeline revenue is telling you how much pipeline is still open with these accounts. And then this number here, this 53, is showing you the average number of touches per account during this time frame. So in this case, this is saying we have an average of 53 touches per account. Leads matched is this 16,312 number. That's representing how many leads Marketo Measure has matched to accounts. Accounts engaged, 10,827. This is the number of accounts that we've actually engaged with, again, during the time frame selected in the filters. Opportunities engaged is just shy of 3,000. That means that we have almost 3,000 unique opportunities that have been engaged with, and 28,643 individuals engaged. Individuals would mean both leads and contacts. Now, this next module here, touch points over time, this is breaking it down by the different channels that we can engage with accounts through. So you can see that we've got channels for BDR, paid search, direct, partner, display, partner marketing. And this line chart charts the growth or deceleration of different channels on a monthly basis throughout this time period. And accounts touched over time is showing kind of the same thing, but it's aggregating up to just the total number of accounts that we engaged during the individual months in this time frame. Touch point count. This is now aggregating all of the touch points for each individual channel throughout this time frame. So up here, direct is one of the lines and it's going up and down. Here, this is the total number of touch points represented in this chart. So for direct had 286,000 total touch points during this time frame. And then accounts by touch point count. This is showing you the account name and then the total number of touches or touch points for that account during this time frame. Now, you also have some additional filters over here. These are some standard filters that you have. And these filters allow you to highlight certain channels, highlight certain sub-channels, highlight certain campaigns, or even to highlight certain accounts. These filters would also allow you to use your Marketo Measure segmentation. So if you had created some sort of segmentation tied to like account tiers or industries or geographic regions, you could apply those here and bring this down to a subset of your total accounts. So let's say, for example, you were running a campaign targeting your tier one accounts as part of an ABM strategy. You would have set up your segmentation to be able to tell your account tiers. Here, you'd be able to apply that segmentation and be able to only focus the support on account tiers. So that's a really, really cool way to shrink this down from all accounts just to certain accounts. Now, a couple of other things that you can do with this. Right now, we're focused on the dimension of channel. You could change this to subchannel. And when you change that to subchannel and refresh this chart here and this down here are no longer going to be focused on the channel. They will be focused on the subchannel. So where previously we were seeing paid search, now we're seeing AdWords. So you can change the way that this dimension functions. You could also look at it from a campaign standpoint. So you can see individual campaigns. Now, if you're looking at individual campaigns, it's probably not best to be looking at all campaigns because you're going to run into a mess like you have here where you really can't tell what's what, and your legend at the bottom goes away. So it'd probably be good to focus in on specific campaigns or specific channels or sub-channels here if you're going to use this campaign dimension. If you were looking at, for example, if you were wanting to look at AdWords, you could even focus in on your specific keyword here. So this would show exactly which keywords within AdWords are engaging with our accounts. That's something that your paid media team would probably be very, very interested in. Now, one of my favorite use cases for this dashboard in Visible is actually looking at things like multi-channel campaigns and how they are engaging with accounts. So, for example, let's say you are running a product launch campaign and you want to see how that product launch campaign, which is being run through paid search, is being run through paid social, is being run through organic social. You've got a webinar that you're doing around this product launch. You've got an event that you're doing around this product launch. You've got multiple channels. This is where you would use your campaign filter and put in your UTM values that you're using to track this particular campaign, and also your Salesforce campaigns that are tracking things like webinar attendance and event attendance. You would put those values into this campaign filter here, and you would filter for specific campaigns tied to that product launch. And then you would refresh this board. And when you do that, it's going to show only those touch points tied to that multi-channel campaign, but it's going to show it from an account-based perspective. So how many accounts have we engaged with through this product launch campaign? And who are those accounts? And how many times have we engaged with those accounts over time? So that's one of my favorite use cases for this board. Another really good use case for this board is getting into some a little bit more advanced kind of style of reporting. So let's say, for example, you're running campaigns through like 6 sensor demand base. We all know that that's display advertising, and we all know that display advertising has a notoriously low click rate, which means that display advertising doesn't typically show up in a lot of our attribution reporting because it's not getting a lot of those direct clicks. So the question comes up a lot is how do you report on things like 6 cents and demand base where I've got, a whole bunch of accounts that are receiving ads, but ultimately, if they're not having a direct click engagement with that ad, and they're having a more indirect engagement with that ad, where they're seeing that ad and then they're coming back either direct or through organic search, how can I tell that? And this board is one of the areas you can tell that. So this is where you would want to leverage your segmentation feature, and you would want to create a segment for the accounts that are receiving those ads through 6 cents or demand base. And you would want to create a segment for the accounts that are not receiving those ads through 6 cents or demand base. So you want to be able to tell who's receiving those and who isn't. Then from there, you're going to hone in specifically on your direct channel and your display channel and your organic search channel. And when you then refresh this, you also want to align your date field to the time frame when your ad is running, or when your ads are running. And what you want to look for in this, when you refresh this board, what you want to look for is you want to look for your segment. You want to create a version of this board for your segment that's receiving your ads. So you can see how, direct and organic are going up over time during the time period that you're running the ads. Ideally, you want to also include some time frame that's from before you run the ads, so you can see if it's going up and if so, by how much. Same thing with this chart here. That would be you want to see that increase over time, and then you're going to want to run another version of this report with your segment applied for the accounts that are not receiving these ads. And when you do that, then you can compare those side by side. And what you're looking for is you're looking for an increase to the group that's receiving the ads, but not a corresponding increase to the group that's not receiving the ads. If you have a similar increase among both groups, the group that's receiving the ads and the group that's not receiving the ads, then you can't really say that it's tied to the ads because they're both going up. But if the group that's receiving the ads has a more steep increase, or is increasing and the other one's staying flat, then the difference is that the account group that's receiving the ads, it's working, it's having an impact because their direct traffic and their organic search traffic is going up, whereas the other one's staying flat. That's ultimately what you're looking for. And this board can really help you do that because it is focused on accounts, and those platforms are focused on accounts. And so you're kind of aligning your account-based advertising with account-based reporting principles here. So this is just one example, or actually a couple of examples of how you can do account-based reporting inside Marketo Measure, along with a couple of my kind of favorite use cases for account-based reporting. If you do have any questions or would like some additional information on this, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can find us on LinkedIn. You can find us on our website, attributed.io. Or if you have my email address, you can email me directly. All right. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.